Hello, welcome to Wings and Safety, the program where we talk about everything aviation, from the control tower to the cockpit. I am your host, Kemi Oloyo Otegbade. Today, we are honored to have with us a distinguished gentleman. You can see how excited I am. A retired pilot from the Nigeria Air Force. The people who contribute to this industry, this topic we're talking about. I bring to you Air Vice Marshal Steve Onuh, GSS, PSC, FDC, MSc. He has flown presidents and he's going to tell us about his experience and contribute a lot to this program. I present to you today's guests. Aviation Steve Onuh, can you please introduce yourself? I've heard so many great things about you and how you have contributed to this industry. And I said, it should be an honor to have you on our program. You contributed to the stability and safety in the skies. Can you please tell our viewers your name, what you do, what you have done for the nation?
I am Steve Onuh, Air Vice Marshal retired. Retired from the Nigerian Air Force in 2018. And after retiring from the Air Force, I still got engaged to fly and mentor some younger officers. And I was still with them for another 3 years. In all, I was in the air for Nigerian Air Force about 38 years because I served 36 years. Out of that 36 years, I was in the air for like 34 years. And then plus the 3 years after I have retired, I have been in the air for like 38 years. It has been a very exciting period, such that even up till today, I look into the sky and I see Mambo at every place.
I see yourself flying. I like that. I like that. And I've heard that you have been on the presidential air fleets for years. Can you tell me about that?
I actually got posted to the presidential air fleet in 1999 with the coming in of the democracy, a second coming for the democracy, with President Obasanjo, and I got trained. Although I was flying transport aeroplanes in the Air Force before I got posted to Presidential Air Fleet.
Okay.
I flew in the Presidential Air Fleet for like about 16 years.
Whoa!
And within that period, I got trained on quite some corporate jets, which we used to travel with presidents around the world. I flew with President Obasanjo, I flew with President Yar'Adua, I flew with President Goodluck Jonathan, and then I flew with Buhari for some time, and then I got posted out of the Presidential Air Fleet to Headquarters NAV.
Okay. Can you take us back to the early days and what inspired you to become a pilot? And what were the core principles of safety and discipline that shaped your training in those days?
Okay, as a young man, I was born in Kaduna, and I attended Army Children's School, Komela Barracks.
Okay.
At the start of the Nigerian Civil War in 1966,
okay,
I was just starting primary one. And as young men, we used to go to the Air Force base. The Air Force was a very small place. We lived a little far from the Air Force base, but we used to trek to that place to go and have a view of aeroplanes. And I felt that it was fun. And also, we used to see tall, what do you call them? Big aeroplanes that fly very high. And when you see the contrails, as the aircraft is passing through very cold air, you see like smoke behind it. That's what is called the contrails. So we used to hear stories that it was not human beings that were flying aeroplanes. We heard that it was pussycats, it was dogs, and those kind of things. So when we now discovered that it was people that were flying aeroplanes, I, for one, really got very excited. And I felt that one day I'll be flying aeroplanes. Then sometimes again, when we got moved down to Benue State, I'm from an agrarian area, and we used to go to farm. And then you will see low flying aeroplanes. That was when Makurdi base was open. Okay. And I got more gingers about flying.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you describe the culture of safety within the Nigeria Air Force compared to civilian aviation?
Before emphasis came on CRM, which is crew resource management, there used to be a lot of disparity in the cockpit, which was not very, very safe. But these days, there's so much emphasis on the CRM, and the military pilots today are exactly not the same as before this time, because the concept of CRM is so much taught. It's all about safety, cockpit safety, safety in the air, safety on the ground, safety with other crew members that are not cockpit crew. So it is all taught in the CRM.
You must have encountered critical moments in the air. Definitely. Can you share one with us? Any flight situation that really tested your skills and how your training prepared you for it?
But we had so many.
Give us one.
So many. But I think one of the most critical ones I had, maybe let me share it.
Okay.
We are going from Abu Dhabi to Bangkok about 3 a.m. in the morning, and we were just right on top of clouds. And when you have clouds below you, they are a little bit difficult to trace by the weather radar, because the weather radar actually has angle in which it looks, it's like a V forward, like this. And we missed it because we did not see where, a little on top of it. But somewhere, they call it the top, we hit the weather, very short. In less than 30 seconds, we lost about 3,000 feet. And it was on top of the Pacific. It was really scary, because it was like everything just went wrong. The instruments were screaming, passengers were screaming at the back, the aircraft was vibrating, and within 15 to 20 seconds, we came into very clear skies. And we knew. It's about 3 a.m. in the morning. It was really not very, very interesting. And we were already getting tired, because we flew from Abuja to Abu Dhabi, and from Abu Dhabi we were going to fly to Bangkok.
So you had flown how many hours then?
We broke it up like about 6.5 hours from Abuja to Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
We took a rest of about 3 hours. Then we had another 6 hours again from Abu Dhabi to Bangkok,
Okay.
and then turn around from Bangkok to Tokyo.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So it's one very memorable one I never forget. We were a 3-man crew
Okay.
that were flying. One was on the jump seat, one on the right, and one on the left.
Wow.
I think we learned seriously from it.
Okay. From your experience, what do you believe contributes mostly to unsafe practices in aviation? Is it human error, training gaps, organization culture, or infrastructure?
There are quite a lot of them.
Okay.
Quite a lot. Like I told you before, CRM is trying to bridge that gap now. You have operational pressures. That is organizational pressure.
Okay.
In the corporate world, they call it executive pressure. And it has killed a lot of people. And executives, they say the weather is not good or the route is not good. The man say, I want to go. We've had it here before.
Oh, so it's a combination of all.
It's a combination of everything you just mentioned. And so with training, with practice, and with understanding.
So CRM should be a standard.
It's just it. And then executive pressure. Executive pressure is you say you cannot go, there is a problem. You cut gaps during maintenance. There are maintenance schedules. You
miss them.
You miss them, or you cover them up. Those are really things that affect safety. Or you have overaged pilots, or you have underage pilots. Underaging is an inexperienced pilots. A lot of things happen these days. People go into aviation now, do most of their works in the house, in the room. And then they cut corners. And before you know what is happening, the guy is in the cockpit and he doesn't know much. In our own time, those days, we used to call something stick and rudder. That is the joystick and the rudders that you kick on the leg.
Okay.
You must know those basics well. Because when everything fails, you are going to return to it. You return back to manual.
Wow. Passenger behavior is a key theme on wings and safety.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what are the passenger actions or attitudes that pose the greatest risk during flights?
Passenger behavior depends the kind of flight. Like I told you before, I was not privileged to fly regular commercial flights. But in the corporate world, the passenger is the executive. So you have very little control over them. But education also, you can enlighten them. And your own crew, now this time, cabin crew, not cockpit crew.
Yeah.
Enlightening them on some of the attitudes that can endanger flight or that can affect safety. But like you know, of late, we've had unruly behaviors by passengers in the commercial line in Nigeria, and a lot of people frown at it. But in the case of corporate world, the owner is always right.
Military pilots operate under strict discipline and checklist culture. What can Nigeria Airlines and crew members learn from the discipline culture of the military?
From what I know so far, they also have their own SOPs, standard operating procedures. And in drawing standard operating procedures, there's a lot of emphasis on discipline. There's a lot of emphasis on discipline because you actually need discipline to do the right thing at the right time, unless you want to endanger your life and the lives of others. So you cannot underestimate the importance of discipline.
Aviation incidents often arise from small lapses.
Yeah.
Do you have a good example of where minor routine checks that were not done has resulted in major incidents?
With me, no.
Okay.
But it's
We're talking globally.
It's a very common,
yeah.
Like they will tell you that accident is a chain of events.
Yeah.
From one to the other, one thing will happen to another thing that will happen. Like in case of a technician forgetting a screwdriver in the intake of an aircraft. You had it before. Or like somebody not plugging a plug. What do you call it? There is this thing they call,
whoa,
can't remember again now, but they are plugs, cannon plugs. Cannon plugs, you push in and lock. And sometimes you push in and you don't lock. When the airplane starts vibrating in weather, that thing can just open and that is it. Then so many things start to happen. So when you break those chains, supervision is very, very important.
Very key.
Yes, yes. So in maintenance, they have a line. This man checks, you have a second check, you have a third check, and maybe a fourth check. Okay. But you see, like, you know, when something is going to happen, it's going to happen.
Technology has improved aviation in the last decades. What are the innovations that you can mention that has improved the industry globally and nationally compared to when you started?
I was lucky to have seen the old generation and the new generation. By virtue of my being in presidential air fleet, a lot has happened in aviation, technology-wise. Because like now, you have what they call glass cockpits. The glass cockpits are such that the lots of instruments you used to see on the inside the cockpit before have been compressed. Whoa. So they are now compressed to just maybe 4 tubes, 6 tubes, and then you change the pages to view whatever you want to view. And thereby it reduces the workload on the pilot and increases safety awareness, because your scan now is highly reduced. Before we used to have a 180 scan. And what we mean by 180 scan is that you scan from here or even more, because you look to your back and then to your back here. But now your view is reduced by compressing instrument into what is called EFIS. That is electronic flight instrument systems.
Electronic
EFIS.
flight instrument system. Yeah.
So they compress everything into maybe 4 tubes. The captain has 2 tubes. The co-pilot has 2 tubes, and everything. So you can even scan from the captain side to the co-pilot side, from the co-pilot side to the captain side. And it has really enhanced safety and awareness.
So finally, what message would you give to travelers? Because we need to focus on air travelers too. Airlines, regulators, and aspiring aviators on strengthening our aviation safety culture. What will be your advice? Because you are a veteran now.
The advice is, see, with passengers, it is good for passengers to develop a cautious habit. That is, when you are going to fly, you look at the time your flight is and walk backwards, so that at no point in time you come under stress. You are running, you are carrying bags. Sometimes when you see Nigerians, particularly Nigerians, let me say particularly Nigerians, you see them outside, many times they are doing the right thing. From gate to gate, they are doing, but the moment you come and see them, and an inbound flight from outside Nigeria and it's going to Nigeria, you don't need anybody to tell you that this gate is Nigeria that is boarding there. Because we now bring our attitude there. That is for passengers. Develop a good passenger culture. That is general human ethics. That is it for them. In Nigeria also, for regulators also need to be very, very serious. Whenever you hear an incident, you cannot work on assumptions. In aviation, you hardly work with assumptions. When you are writing papers on social sciences, and you cannot go on assumptions, but on physical sciences, it has to be. It's not assuming. The only time you assume is when you say, if you see a red light or a amber light or a green light, what is it that's happening behind the scene? Yes, you can. That is when you start thinking that, so what could have happened now? But not on when you know things that will affect safety of life, both in the air and on the ground. And then operators, that one, now then be your guy, pata. If I own an airline today, I can come and stand in front and say, you, this passenger, come down from the aircraft. Timing. If you cannot get timing right, you cannot get almost everything right. And that's why you see with the military, it's a little different, because the military, right from the day you come, they start from, there's what we call RSM timing. If a guy is coming at 1, RSM will tell you that a guy is coming at 12. Then the next person to him will say, a guy is coming at 11:30. So from 11:30, you have already started preparing your mind. But at the end of the day, you should be there, seated. No noise, no movement. 5 minutes to the time of the arrival of the big man.
Do you think airlines should be sanctioned when they delay flights at short notice, especially if it's not due to operational
reasons?
Yes. Because we have a lot of that, no compensation, and it has become an order of the day. Who should we blame? Is it the regulators or the airlines?
Some of these things are actually in the books. They are in the books of NCAA, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority.
Okay.
You have Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority regulations. They have regulations for operators. They have regulations for aircraft owners. And then they also have regulations for we, the pilots. At so time, you must train like this. At so time, a cabin crew should train. Most cabin crews today, after their initial cabin crew training, they don't do any other thing again. Okay. And they go about every day. They cannot talk. If you talk, you get fired. And there are no jobs. So that's it.
So the rules are there, but they are not.
The rules are there. They are not enforced. They are not enforced. You tell a passenger you have a flight for 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 8 o'clock in the night, the guy is still seated there. So many people have walked away from airport before. And then when they come back today, they say it's no show, that you did not come. And I have had friends that go to airport at 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 11 o'clock in the night, they are still there. And there are regulations, actually, to sanction those things.
Okay, it's just that they have not been enforced.
Yes.
This is Wings and Safety Voxpop meets Funke Adesina, an actress and producer, and a special assistant to immediate past President Buhari on social events. You're welcome, Funke Adesina.
Thank you so much, ma'am. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. You are welcome to Wings and we know by the virtue of your personality, I've known you for over 1.5 decades, and I know that you are a frequent traveler. So we will want to have your tips on safety in our aviation industry. What do you think should be the minimum acceptable passenger behavior on an aircraft?
I think what we are witnessing in recent times in the aviation sector, in terms of human behavior, there are too many people who lack personal training. You understand? When you refuse to develop yourself, you do not even know how to carry yourself outside of your homes. So I think we need to still go back to the parents, how people can train their words better, how humans can also develop themselves better to understand that there are certain actions and behaviors that you should not take outside of your home. In your home, you can be 100% yourself, but when you immediately you step outside of your gate, you cannot be yourself. When you step outside of your gate into your estate, for instance, have certain rules and guidelines and the basic minimum behavior that is expected of a person. So you're not completely yourself. You have to put into consideration other people, other flyers. Personally, I think what we are witnessing in recent times would happen a lot more often if proper training and education is not put into consideration for guests. Proper education cannot be too much when it comes to flyers. We just have to keep trying and educating the people on how to behave and carry oneself.
Thank you. As someone who is well versed in politics, entertainment, and business, what will be your advice on safety and discipline in the aviation industry of cars?
So personally, I think security is beyond just the defense sector. Security of lives and properties and other users is very important. And you cannot, if Mohammed refused to go to mountain should come to Mohammed. If flyers refuse to carry themselves in an expected manner, then airlines should be more serious about what they expect of their flyers. If you cannot abide by certain guidelines, then perhaps you can try other airlines. Also, it is very important for airlines to train their own staff adequately. Everything is action and reaction. Actions begets certain reactions that we see from flyers also. So if flyers are agitated, the attendants, the airline staff and airport officials should understand psychology enough to help, mitigate the situation for it not to escalate into things that everybody in that environment don't have control over. So I think we have to go beyond safety and security in the aviation sector, and perhaps include psychological training for the aviation staff. It is very important for them to understand psychology. If a dog is being erratic, someone that is properly trained in the psychology of dogs can help that dog calm down and ease what would have turned into a violent situation. When somebody is erratic and the airport staff is also being erratic, everything will escalate. It's natural.
Thank you for this. I know that you are a great traveler locally and internationally. Do you have a favorite airline?
So,
I mean, the one that has met at least your minimum standard.
locally or internationally?
Both, ma'am.
So, I think a lot of international airlines they've surpassed BRS minimum. I personally, I don't want to say I have favorite, but I do. So I think I'm tuned more towards Turkish Airlines and perhaps Qatar Airways for international. And locally, I seem to favor. I fly Bristol a lot locally from Abuja to Lagos, but beyond that, I think a lot of our local airlines should not be about the money alone. You know, passengers' welfare is not usually considered enough. You know, you cannot keep people at the airport for 3-4 hours without adequate explanation. And you're coming and you expect me, who have certain appointments, that I need to keep up with, to just accept it and move on with it. You know, I think we need to do better in terms of you can't delay people.
Women are increasingly taking space in aviation. What do you think, or what is your role in encouraging women to be in aviation? Because we are mothers, we nurture, and our contribution will create safety in aviation.
I commendable. Defeat Nigerian women and African women have taken their crafts and talents too. I think it's very commendable. And I cannot be prouder of being a woman. However, I think as much as we have women in the aviation sector doing the honorable, quote and unquote, work, being the pilots, being the hostesses and all, I think we should have more women push into the engineering departments, you know, the fields that are supposedly reserved for men, you know. I think we should push to be the engineers, to be the security, to aim to achieve our fullest potentials.
Thank you, Funke Adesiyan, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
The safety discipline of everyone in aviation industry belongs to all of us. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience, insights, and wisdom. And to our viewers, thank you for watching Wings and Safety. Remember, safety is not a slogan, it's a culture. Stay glued to this program.